Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. Oh my gosh, look at that panel of Batman. You have the Absolute, you have the Deluxe. DC Comics firing on all cylinders. Hey now, all you minties! This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, I'm going to be doing an overview of the Dark Knights of Steel, the Deluxe Edition from DC Comics. So, let's find out what exactly is collected in here, and of course, what the story is about. And welcome back, everybody. So what we have here is the latest deluxe edition from DC Comics. This is the Dark Knights of Steel. And something you're going to notice besides the return, of course, of the new old DC logo, the bullet logo, is the Elseworld logo. Man, I've missed that. And Vertigo. And even the DC logo brings back memories. Now, this was previously collected in trade paperbacks and standard size hardcovers, like so. And that's the it's so weird. I still call it the new DC logo, but that's the one that they've replaced with this one here. But these were standard size, whereas this one here is a deluxe edition. So it is as tall as Omni's, but there were two of these. And I think, there were two of these, and then there was Tales of, I think. But I think that was part of Volume 2. So let's look at this. Oh, before I go any further, though, this is the direct market cover. This is the one that is supplied by Dan Mora. On the left-hand side is your standard edition cover that's going to be available everywhere, and that is by Yasmin Putri. Of course, the internal artwork of the book. But everything else underneath the dust jacket is the same. So let's take a closer look at this with our main characters. Again, an Elseworld tale. If you don't know what that means, it means this takes place in another universe. It's not in continuity. The characters could be the same, or they could take another kind of persona, if you will. They could be villains. They could be superheroes. So sometimes they flip-flop. So it's always a surprise. And this is no different because there are plenty of surprises here. So let's look at the flaps. Come from the stars, they will look like us, and this is the prophecy of Constantine, or Constantine, depending on where you're from. And a little bit of bio on Tom Taylor, Yasmin Putri, Arif Priantro, and then we have this piece right here. And it's a piece that's separated by this spine right there. Dark Knights of Steel, the Deluxe Edition, Taylor, Putri, Prianto, and then the DC logo, and that sword. So we are going to crack this Deluxe Edition open, talk about the stories found in here, give you a pitch, of course, and then look at this beautiful, beautiful artwork, and some of the extras in the back, and of course the build. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. You have your black end sheets there, Dark Knights of Steel, the Deluxe Edition. Tom Taylor and Jay Kristoff and C.S. Picot, talking about the two stories that are in the Tales of. And then you have Yasmin Putri doing the main artwork, and Bengal helping him out, Nathan Gooden. And then the colorists like Arif Prianto and Yasmin Putri. And Wes Abbott is your letterer. And here's your title page right here, Dark Knights of Steel, the Deluxe Edition. This is a wonderful introduction, seal of approval by none other than Mark Waid. It's a really good one. It's talking about the understanding of characters and the importance of what makes a good story, and it's how sometimes just different writers don't get it, but Tom Taylor gets it. And I agree. Like I think he does get it, because every one of his books, whether I agree with the characterization or not, I think is a lot of fun, and this is no different. This is a perfect example of why I do enjoy his books, and I love seeing this more than anything, the return of Elseworlds and explaining what it is. So yes, these are heroes taken from their usual settings and put into strange times and places. That's exactly what this is. All right, so collected in here is Dark Knights of Steel 1 through 12 and Dark Knights of Steel Tales from the Three Kingdoms #1. The book has 408 pages and retails for $49.99. in the beginning. Before I go any further, I do have to spoil the first 2 issues to kind of give you the pitch of the story and what exactly is happening and why things are coming together the way they are. All right, you've been warned, but let's look at this together. Look at this beautiful artwork, too. Krypton, years ago. It's blowing up. There's a prophecy over here on the left-hand side. It's this narrative, white on red. But you have jor-el right here with Lana talking about how this is their only hope. You've seen this story. You know this story. Krypton's about to blow up. A spaceship is sent to a distant planet and crash lands on Earth. And that's when the prophecy began. Comes from the stars. But it's not kal-el in there. It is actually jor-el and his wife. And they're actually being approached by these knights coming at them with their arrows out. And what happens is that jor-el ends up murdering all of them. But kal-el is born, and everything is going to be all right. So it kind of fools you into thinking this is the story of Superman landing on Earth, but it's not. It's a story of jor-el and Lana landing on Earth. And it becomes the El family. Then you are witnessing the Kingdom of Storms. And I'll talk a little bit about more of these kingdoms here in a second, where it talks about, again, the prophecy. And you see Constantine here. And you see Jeffries approach him. Again, these are characters, if you're familiar with the ongoing universe, you know that's Black Bolt, you know that's John Constantine. And now you have 19 years later, Castle of El. So it seems like the El family is doing pretty good for themselves. And you have kal-el, and he's friends with Bruce, who happens to be a knight, going as Batman is what everybody calls him. And Batman has Alfred here. So familiar faces, really cool. And Batman is approaching these Robins, as he calls them. And these Robins have found a banshee, and that's what he's been called to do. He's been called to go and take care of this demon. Apparently, Batman is notorious in this book for taking people that have supernatural powers or magic powers and arresting them and putting them in a dungeon. So that's what he does here. He tries to arrest this banshee. But she claims that she's not a banshee. She's just a woman named Dinah. And sure enough, she tries to blow him away, but she's like, how in the world did you survive that? Could it be the armor? And then kal-el comes in. Kal-el wants to go on these adventures, but Batman's like, no, you can't. You are the son of the king. You are prince of this kingdom. You can't just go on these adventures. Are you kidding me? We have Quinn right here, who is kind of like the advisor to Batman and to the king and queen of El. And she knows that he ends up taking these people to the dungeon. And there's a whole little bit of a struggle between Batman and kal-el. Kal-el wants to be his own man. He knows he's going to inherit the kingdom one day. Batman realizes that he is the bat bastard of this land. His parents were slain, and you get to find out exactly how they were in a little bit. Now, the king takes Batman out for a walk. He wants to tell him some things. As I am censoring what he's telling him, by the way, because it is very important to the story and I don't want to spoil that, but I am showing you something else that's happening, where you have this character known as Oliver, and the Green Man is talking to him and giving him orders to fire this arrow into the kingdom of El. Now, something very important is being shared with Bruce in this story. However, as soon as it is revealed what the king was telling him, this secret that's going to change everything, the king is murdered by this green arrow, and Batman is pissed. And Superman and Lana come out there. I'm sorry, he's not called Superman. He's just called kal-el. So Batman's like, it was a green arrow from the forest. We got to go after them. And Alfred goes with him. He immediately cuts off his Oliver's hand right here. Man, it's brutal. And he arrests him because he's like, I'm no killer. The Green Man is mysterious and goes away, still talking to Constantine, was talking to Oliver. And we go back and we see that perhaps the Green Man is manipulating all these people. And we see King Jeffries here, was this the right call? Is this something that we were supposed to do? And this is the Kingdom of Storms, by the way, where his kids also have lightning and rain power. And his advisor is none other than John Constantine. Now, something happens here. You know, they have to advise everyone. So word gets out. Amanda Waller's also one of those like generals, but perhaps an advisor, just like Quinn. But what ends up happening is that we go to Amazon Island, where we have Hippolyta greeting none other than Lois Lane, who comes with word from the Kingdom of El. And what she does is she tells Wonder Woman, of course, Diana, and someone else, Zala Jor-el, the daughter of the king and queen, that her father is dead. So what ends up happening is that she gets upset. She finds out that her father is dead. How could this possibly be? So she, in anger, takes the son of the king and murders him, like drops him right in front of him. And this is going to lead into the big battle that's going to take place. So you have three different kingdoms. You have the Amazon kingdom, you've got the kingdom of storms, and you've got the kingdom of El. And all of these places are going to come together for this big battle. And is that really Salah? Like, could she have done something like that? And is there a mystery? And what is with this prophecy? The prophecy of something coming from the sky and destroying this entire world. This was a page turner. I could not put it away. It was amazing. It was twists and turns. And damn it, it was one of those things that was like right in front of your eyes when you read it and you're like, oh, son of a, what? Of course that was what was going on. Or, oh, that twist, I should have known. And I love stories like that. When it's right in your face, I love seeing stories like that. I always think of, you know, my mother-in-law is a huge fan of Agatha Christie, and my wife is a fan of Sherlock Holmes. But the way the stories are done, the Sherlock Holmes stories, it's like you don't have a real chance of actually figuring these things out because the clues aren't in front of your face, right? The clues aren't there. Whereas in Agatha Christie books, you actually have a chance. The clues are there in your face, and you can put two and two together and try to figure it out before the ending of the book. And that's the difference. And I feel like this is one of those stories that you can try to figure out what exactly is going on and perhaps what is behind everything and who is behind everything. Lots of twists and turns. And once you think you got it figured out, there's something else that happens. Man, this was a great book. After issue 6, we have a little bit of an interlude, and this is the Dark Knights of Steel. And you have a couple of stories here that take place during this time, during this world. So you have the Flock, and you've got a story that connects these characters together of Salah and Jor-el. I'm sorry, Kal-el, Superman, of course, and Bruce, and just how close they are, especially when they're dealing with the Flock. You've got the introduction of the Robins and how he ended up meeting the Robins and why he took them under his cowl. I don't want to say wing, that's kind of ridiculous. You've got the King's Bane. You could probably guess who this character is supposed to be, and how he trained Bruce Wayne. And it is properly placed. This interlude is placed after issue number 6, before horrible and bad things are about to happen in this kingdom. And man, it goes in places like I mentioned. I can't wait to hear what you all think if you've read it. Let's look in the back here for extras. So we have some variants back here, and then we'll have some of the character designs, I'm sure. And I would love to see a continuation of the story, because it does end on, like, hey, there perhaps could be more than just 3 kingdoms out there. There were mentions of other kingdoms, and we didn't get to see those kingdoms. And then, of course, if we're dealing with the whole DC universe, yeah, there's just so much out there. I love this picture. That's so cute. It's Dan Mora right there. And then character designs of Zala L, Lara L. I called her Lana, didn't I? Lara. Superman and Jor-el, and then their armors. Batman, then you'll see different costumes. These are the Robins, one of them being Cassandra. She doesn't go by Kane, she goes by Cassandra. Maybe they changed that at the last minute. There she is. And I don't want to go too much into these because that might spoil some of the twists and turns, so let's actually look at the Secret 6 stories from the Tales of the Three Kingdom, and then a little bit about Tom Taylor, Yasmin Putri, and Arif Prianto, and your end sheets. Now, let's look at the build of this. 408 pages. It is glued binding and printed in this glossy paper stock. There is a little bit of bleed through happening. It's minimal, but it's also there. So I did want to point that out. As far as the art and the way it looks, even with that type of binding, most of the art is all done in one page. Lots of panels, not really a lot of spread pages. So there are some splash pages for the most part, but yeah, not really any spread pages, at least none that I can show. So it's very minimal to the spread pages. But that is the Dark Knights of Steel Deluxe Edition. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this deluxe edition, don't forget to check out our sponsors. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this deluxe edition. Let me know in the comments down below if you have the original hardcovers, the trade paperbacks, or if you plan to upgrade, and if you want to see more and more of this Elseworld type of story. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Check us out on Patreon and Spreadshop, amazing ways to support the channel. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.